Joining me now is Congressman James Comer, ranking member of the House Oversight Committee that released these damning emails. Congressman, now you have a list of questions for Dr. Fauci that you posed in your letter. Which one of them is the most pressing?
Well, the most pressing is what did he do with the information? What happened between the time of the first emails from his advisors, around a dozen scientists and virologists that sent emails early on in early February of 2020 that said it appears that this vaccine was man-made and it appears that it leaked from the Wuhan lab. 3 days later, Dr. Fauci had a conference call with these scientists who raised these concerns, and he published a letter. All the scientists then signed on the letter saying that any consideration that this was man-made or could have come from the Wuhan lab was just a conspiracy theory. Now, what changed over that 3-day period, and why wasn't Dr. Fauci transparent with the Trump administration and the public about the fact that this could have, in fact, been man-made in that lab in Wuhan?
Well, a few of the doctors, at least one of them, did not sign that new rehabbed view of the virus. They went on February 1st from in their phone call saying, well, it looks like this thing it came from a lab, part of research, to publishing an article in Nature magazine kind of discounting the lab-made theory. And as you said, calling it a conspiracy. I think Dr. Farzan, who's a very well-known, highly respected researcher, would not sign that, which I think is interesting. But you actually published in part an email from former NIH Director Francis Collins to Dr. Fauci from April 16th, 2020. And the subject line reads, "Conspiracy gains momentum," referring to that lab leak hypothesis. Now, this is from Collins, wondering if there's something NIH can do to help put this very destructive conspiracy down with what seems to be growing momentum. I hope the Nature Medicine article on the genomic sequence of SARS-CoV-2 would settle this. Fauci then responded, "Francis, I would not do anything about this right now. It's a shiny object that will go away in time." Well, Congressman, that was a bad bet. It didn't go away. But the most significant question you pose in your email is, did they alert anyone in the White House or HHS about this lab leak theory? And if not, all these prominent people suggested it on February 1st. Why did they not?
That's the million-dollar question. Why didn't they do that? Anyone that suggested that this was man-made or that this could have been leaked from the Wuhan lab was shot down by Dr. Fauci. He was chastised by Dr. Fauci and the liberal news media. Dr. Collins was clearly trying to spin this with the public. They were watching the press, and they were concerned that Americans and Republicans in particular would start digging into this and find out that the probability that this was man-made and the probability that this was leaked from that lab is very high.
Well, and Congressman, that some of the money that we maybe gave to the EcoHealth Alliance ends up at the Wuhan lab and might have been tangled up in all this, correct? That's the other concern.
That's exactly correct. And remember, Laura, he denied that for over a year, that any tax dollars went to fund gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. We now know that's untrue. Our committee uncovered those emails as well. And why did he lie about that? Why wasn't he transparent about that? And think about the missed opportunities in the early days for the World Health Organization or some entity that's supposed to be the watchdog over things like this. They could have gone in if they were credible. We now know they're not credible, but someone from the United States government could have gone in and investigated this Wuhan lab. And what we fear is the Chinese government had all this time to go in and clean their tracks, and the American people and the world, for that matter, may never know the true origination of COVID. Yeah. But, you know, the more that we dig up, the more it looks like Dr. Fauci was trying to conceal important information.
Congressman, we appreciate it. We look forward to his answers to your letter. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.